Hi there, I'm Mike. What I have for you today is Star Wars The Black Series 40th Anniversary Empire Strikes Back R2-D2 Dagobah. This guy kind of hit targets a little early. I picked mine up a couple weeks ago and mine's been sitting in the bubble for a bit because I wanted to do this kind of video where I just kind of open it up and give you my initial thoughts. I don't really want to do a full-on R2-D2 review. I actually reviewed R2 way back in the day from the first release. This is one of the first reviews I ever did for the Black Series. If you ever want to go back and watch that, I don't recommend it. It's not very good. Not that my reviews now are good, but that's less good than they are good now. Anyways, so as you can see, this is the R2. He's in his Empire Strikes Back kind of retro card there. You can see it. I'll get up close. So you have the classic picture. I do notice that the D here is not capitalized. I feel like that's kind of weird because it's, I don't know, it's hyphenated. And it is designated Dagobah, but this is essentially just a repaint of the R2 we've gotten a couple times in the line. And we'll actually take a look at those. I just want to flip over to the back of the card here. You can see the other figures in the wave. I've got my review of this coming out. I'm probably not going to do anything with Lando. He just has a different face. TIE Fighter Pilot, I might do because we haven't done a review of the TIE Fighter Pilot before. I did a review of this guy, and then this is happening right now. So that's kind of what's happening on the back here. I'm going to go ahead and just pop this open. Now, the way I do it, I like to save these with the rest of my bubbles and cards and things like that. I'm not an inbox collector by any means, but I do like to save the boxes for posterity. And, you know, over time, it's actually become quite a problem because it takes up a lot of space. I have bins full of boxes. I like to do this because you can still kind of set that up like that. They've been coming with these recently. I throw them away. So we have R2-D2. Now, again, like I said earlier, this is essentially the exact same R2-D2 that we've gotten a few times in the line now, but the paint is different because really, what else can you do with R2 other than just kind of paint him differently? I will say that in general, this R2 is a little undersized. And I'll get into that, I guess, a little bit later because I don't want to do that right now. But I just kind of want to twirl this guy around so you can see like the paint deco. He has this thing. This is actually something the original R2-D2 came with as well. It's the Periscope he used on Dagobah. So you can take this off and then the little top right here will peg right in. I will say if for some reason these guys fall over, oftentimes these will pop off and you'll lose them, and it sucks because they are quite small. Thankfully, so far I haven't lost anything permanently, but it does kind of pop off. So there's more that pop off because, again, this is just a retool of the first one that came out, and the first one had just an absolute ton of accessories. So this one right here is where Luke Skywalker's lightsaber can fit into. So what I have here is the Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, which is probably the one that most people watching this have. I'm going to go ahead and take the lightsaber out of his hand. Now, I will say no. It does not fit into here. It's way too big, which means that the regular one, because he basically came with the exact same lightsaber as the first Return of the Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. So no, it only fits the one that the original one came with. I'm not going to dig out the box because that's where the accessories for my first R2-D2 are, so I'm not going to dig it out. But yeah, these three come off, and any R2 they've made from this mold, these three still come off. They haven't remolded the head to not have that feature, so you can always do that, which is kind of neat, but also kind of sucky at the same time, because this one specifically has only ever had one thing that can do with it, but all the R2s can remove it, or Astromechs. Anyways, his door can open here. His little grabber claw can come out like that. I will say these little doors on all my other R2s, none of them actually work this well, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, so you have the little data port right here, and you have a little claw right there, and then that just closes back like so. And then he does have a third leg down here, and you can just kind of twist it like so. And then he has articulation on the back right here, and then he has articulation right there. So if you want him to have his little kind of tripod situation there, you can. Now, I've always kind of hate this because I feel like this comes out too far, and it's definitely not painted, so it stands out. I don't think it's supposed to go out that far, so I think it's supposed to be something like this. But then I feel like these don't go back far enough. I have some splitting right there. Look at that. If it comes down to what I feel like is the normal level, it's not far enough down. So if you do it all the way where it can go down, you just have this big gap, which I've never really been a fan of. So I never display my R2 units with the little third leg all the way down. If you turn the wrong way, it'll click. I don't think it breaks anything, but I wouldn't do it too far. But yeah, I just noticed that. It kind of sucks right there. But it's also like, this sucks, but it's not anything that I really care about. It's something that no one would notice of this figure just sitting on my shelf. So I'm very okay with it. It's just it's something that I just noticed. So again, he's very dirty. That's the big thing about this R2 is he's very dirty. This is the first release R2. You can see they are basically the exact same. I feel like though, look at that. No, I guess it's about the same. I felt like his the articulation there is a little more limited, but it's really not. There's some silver paint here and there's no silver paint in there. That's something I just noticed. What's cool about this one, because this came out, this is like one of the first wave of figures that come out. They made this one in R2 that could be across the entire trilogy. These little things on the side right here pop off, and you can put rocket packs on them. He comes with the Periscope that this one comes with, but also a little antenna and the lightsaber. So again, he comes with a lot of stuff that you can kind of make him an R2 from any part of the trilogy. This one sits with my 40th anniversary of A New Hope early bird special display. This is the one I have on that. This one I'll probably put in my Empire Strikes Back just for posterity, but I was using another R2 for that. I'll get into. Now this one right here, the first one that came out, this was actually re-released in the 40th anniversary line. I didn't pick that one up because I have this already and I just felt like weird buying another one. So this one's been released twice, but still the release of this one wasn't very wide on either one, like the very first wave back in 2013 or the 40th anniversary. So this guy still actually commands a pretty high resale value. So we have the Dagobah here, and then the next one that came out, this one is the one that I was using for the Dagobah. This is actually the R2-D2 that's supposed to be like from the end of A New Hope, where he's all kind of banged up, and I don't think he's trashed enough, but you can see that he's got some like scorching and paint and things like that. I think he might have come with the Periscope and maybe the antenna, but not the lightsaber, and definitely not the rocket boosters, but all astromech droids can do this. Even the R5 units, the R2-D2 and things like that, they can remove this as well because they just reuse the mold, which, you know, I don't really blame them. Of course, like that, why not reuse it? So you can see kind of the paint differences here. This one's definitely a little bit more themed because he's a lot dirty. You can see on the original they kind of molded it after that. Although I definitely don't think it's not dirty enough. This one came out in a 3-pack. I believe it was an Amazon exclusive. Now the last Black Series R2-D2 came out last summer with the release of Galaxy's Edge. This is the R2 from the Droid 3-pack, and this actually was my favorite R2. I have this hanging out. I've got a Droid section in my Black Series collection, and I have this one hanging out there, so you can kind of see. He's not as clean. Oops, see what I'm talking about? That just fell out because I dropped him. This one's not as clean as this one. But it's got just enough weathering to where I like it. Like, it's dirty, but not filthy. You know what I mean? It's just kind of smudgy. So I like that. Like I said, I think this was my favorite. I think the paint apps on it are the best. Pretty much all around, a lot sharper. So that was part of a 4-pack, 3.5 pack. It's definitely not 4 figures. I guess it was R2, C-3PO, but C-3PO with the new body style. DJ Rex from Galaxy's Edge, and then BB-8. So yeah, it was kind of a 3.5 pack, but definitely you see how like this one though, the doors don't kind of close all the way. That happens sometimes on these R2 units, but this one actually is pretty good, so that's good. Now lastly, this is a gift from a viewer. This is the SH Figuarts R2-D2. I mean, obviously there's a lot more money than this, but they're both 6-inch scaled. So I guess the reason I pulled this out is one of my big complaints with this mold here is that it's always been too small. This is actually the size. This feels big, but this is the size that R2 should be. If you watch the movie, this is how tall R2 usually is. It comes up to about his waist, whereas this one comes up to like the top of his thigh. They really do need to make a new R2 and release him in the proper size, because this is where he's supposed to be. And I'm not going to do like a review on this one or anything, but he kind of has the same little gimmicks. His little graspy hand comes out. It's a lot smaller. He's got his data port here like that. These little things open, which I like because he does that in the movies a lot, but I never know like why. Like, why does he have these things that pop open? No idea. but he can. His head can actually turn freely around because his little third leg here is not subject to any kind of gimmick like this, which I like. What they did was a spring-loaded mechanism here, and you can see how far this comes down. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is what an R2-D2 or any kind of astromech droid should look like in kind of tripod mode versus that. You can see how much further that sticks down. It's nuts. It's like a good half inch or so too far down. So that's my overview for R2-D2 here from Dagobah. It's nice if you don't have an R2, definitely pick them up if you need a Black Series R2. I mean, R2 is a staple character. You really can't go wrong with picking him up. Although, like I say, I do have a couple problems with the R2 in the Black Series line. They're too small, and they have a couple little gripes. But overall, again, it's a necessary character and one that hasn't really been widely released to like the mass public, aside from the 2013 release or the re-release that again was really hard to find. The only other way to get them was either buying 2 other droids for $60 or buying the $70 multi-pack from Galaxy's Edge. So again, these are not like budget-friendly options, whereas this one is showing up in Targets now. It's scheduled for a mass release in August. He's not perfect. He definitely has a couple little flaws, but overall, I kind of like him. I'm gonna give this little guy a 3.5 out of 5. I think the likeness is a little off. He could come with some more accessories like the original one did. He just came with this little periscope thing. I wish the articulation were a little bit better on his little things here, and I wish that this weren't reliant on this gimmick for lowering this thing down here. But the paint and sculpt are really nice. The level of detail that goes on here, it looks really good. And of course I want it. And right now he's pretty readily available. If you want to go to Target, if you have one around you, I've seen a bunch so far. And then also, you know, he's gonna come out pretty much everywhere in August. So it shouldn't be too hard to find. That's it. With that, that's my R2-D2 Dagobah review or overview or comparison. Whatever you want to call it, that's what I did. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for getting this far. If you'd like to let me know what you think of this, what you thought of my review, are you going to get this? Are you passing on it? I love to read and respond to all those comments down in the downstairs area. I'd also like to take a moment to thank these people here for supporting me on Patreon at a Black Series level or higher. It means a lot to me that you guys do that. Thank you so much. If Patreon's not your thing, I totally get that. In the downstairs area, there's a couple different ways that you can help my channel out. Up to and including liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting the bell for more notifications. All that stuff helps out the channel, and it's free. But with that, that's all I've got. Thanks so much for getting this far, and I'll see you later. Bye.